हेलो। Hello. All of you join. So far, only 8 students joined. Hello. All of you join. ए बाबा आजाद। 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 हेलो। Hello. So far only 25 students joined. What about other students? All of you join? Okay. So yesterday, I have started internal flows. Flow inside a tube. So I have given the velocity distribution in a tube, how the boundary is formed inside the tube, hydrodynamic boundary layer, and how to calculate shear stress, and that is minus dou p by dou x into small r by 2, and maximum stress occurs at the wall of the pipe, that is minus dou p by dou x into capital R by 2. So similarly, velocity distribution, parabolic in nature, I have given the velocity distribution equation for the tube flow yesterday, and so I have given the equation for small u, that is velocity at any distance y from the wall. After that, we have arrived the equation for u max, and finally we have arrived the relationship between u and u max. U and u max are maximum velocity. U is at a velocity at any given distance y from the wall of the pipe. U max is the maximum velocity. So in a pipeline, at what point or at what location velocity will be maximum? At the center of the pipe, velocity is maximum. And at what location velocity is zero? At the wall surface, the velocity is zero. Like that, the velocity distribution parabolic in nature. So I have given the yesterday shear stress equation, velocity distribution equation, how the boundary layer is formed, hydrodynamic boundary layer is formed, like that, that have been discussed in the yesterday's class. Similarly, just like hydrodynamic boundary layer, whenever if you heat the pipe with some constant flux or constant wall temperature, if you heat the pipe with a by giving heat transfer to the pipe and by giving sometimes constant heat flux, there are two conditions here: constant heat flux condition, constant wall temperature condition. So for this, if you heat any pipe or if hot fluid is flowing inside a pipe or any steam is flowing or any other hot liquid is flowing inside any tube or pipe, then just like hydrodynamic boundary layer, so thermal boundary layer will also be formed. So today in this class we will discuss how the thermal boundary layer is formed, what is thermal boundary layer, what is the temperature distribution, how do you find a temperature distribution equation, how do you find out heat transfer coefficient for two conditions. One condition is constant heat flux and second condition constant wall temperature. Okay na? So thermal boundary layer. So whenever take this as a tube, just like hydrodynamic boundary layer, thermal boundary layer will also be formed. So Ti is the initial temperature, X in the X direction. So certain length of the pipe at the entrance. So there is temperature variations. Temperature variation, just like velocity variations. So T is the initial temperature. So just like hydrodynamic boundary layer. So TBL, thermal boundary layer, will be formed like this. From the above center, also below center, this is thermal boundary layer formation. Thermal boundary layer formation, TBL, thermal boundary layer formation. This is the temperature profile at the entrance, and up some distance, this is the temperature profile. And finally, at the center, whenever thermal boundary thickness, this thermal boundary thickness, there was thermal boundary thickness, thermal boundary thickness. Here also, this is thermal boundary thickness, thermal boundary thickness, delta TH. So Ti initial temperature, T temperature at any location from the wall or from the wall at any value of y, T is the temperature, just like velocity, here temperature T. TW wall temperature. So this is a thermal profile initially. So up to this length, thermal boundary layer will not be established. Once at this point, whenever the boundary thicknesses thermal boundary thickness is equal to radius of the pipe. Here both the thermal boundary layer coincides at this point. Here thermal boundary thickness is radius of the pipe. Here thermal boundary thickness is radius of the pipe. So at this point, the flow is completely stabilized thermally. Just like hydrodynamically, yesterday what we have discussed hydrodynamically, thermally also flow is stabilized. This is the final, so stabilized temperature profile, thermal profile. So temperature. So the temperature T at any given location Y from the wall surface. So TW wall temperature. So up to this point, the entrance region is known as thermal entry region. Once the flow is stabilized and once the thermal profile, this is thermal profile. This thermal profile is stabilized and flow is fully established. Flow is fully established. So then this is known as thermal developed region. Thermal developed region. So that's why the figure A gives development of thermal boundary layer. Development of thermal boundary layer in a tube when the temperature T is greater than, here up to this only wall temperature. Here temperature T. So when the temperature T at any given location from the wall, T is greater than TW, the thermal boundary will be developed like this. So this is the boundary layer, thermal boundary layer. So development of thermal boundary layer in a tube when the condition temperature T is greater than, here, T is greater than TW. Similarly, sometimes T may be less than TW also. At that instance, so this is the, okay, this is same thermal entrance region, delta T, thermal boundary thickness, delta T, thermal boundary thickness, thermal boundary thickness. This is thermal profile during initial stages. That is known as thermal entrance region. So this is, so thermal profile when the wall temperature is greater than T. Here T is small when compared to TW. So like that, this profile will be like this. Profile will be like this. Whereas here, the profile will be like this. After fully developed, thermal profile will be like this. Thermal profile or temperature profile will be like this. Whereas when the wall temperature is greater than T, here condition is T is greater than TW. So this is the thermal profile. This is the shape of the thermal profile. When the TW is greater than T, this is the shape of the thermal profile. So T is less than the TW. Otherwise, TW is greater than T. So here this is a fully developed region when the wall temperature, TW, wall temperature is greater than temperature at any given location. So like that, the development of thermal boundary layer. So thermal boundary layer, just like hydrodynamic boundary layer, thermal boundary layer also will be formed. So this is known as delta T, thermal boundary thickness. This is the delta T, delta T, delta T. If you take this delta T, so here the symmetry. Okay, na? So delta T is thermal boundary thickness. TW is wall temperature. T temperature at any given location from the wall. And up to certain length, entrance length, so flow is unstabilized. That region is known as thermal entrance region. After that, flow will be stabilized. Then this region is known as fully developed thermal region, just like hydrodynamic boundary layer. So here, let us consider that a fluid at a uniform temperature, fluid flowing with a uniform temperature inside the tube. Enters a circular tube, enters a circular tube with its wall at a different temperature. Wall temperature may be different than that of fluid temperature. This is fluid temperature, for example, here. Wall temperature. So wall temperature may be different temperature than the fluid temperature. The fluid particles in the layer in contact with the surface of the tube will assume the tube surface or wall temperature. Here, the fluid particle, what is the temperature of fluid particles? Obviously, the temperature of fluid particle equal to the temperature of the wall surface. So that's why the fluid particles in the layer nearer to the surface of the tube will have the temperature of TW, that is wall temperature. So whenever the temperature of the fluid changes, so this will initiate convection heat transfer in the tube, within the fluid. Within the fluid, there is convection heat transfer and the development of thermal boundary layer along the tube. Whenever the convection heat transfer takes place within the fluid, the development of thermal boundary layer. Development of thermal boundary layer along the tube, along the tube, along the tube. So the thickness of the thermal boundary layer also increases in the flow direction. The thickness of the thermal boundary layer increases in the flow direction. Increases in the flow direction until the boundary layer, until the boundary layer reaches the tube center and thus fills the entire tube. Until the boundary reaches the tube center. Once the boundary reaches the tube center, here also, and from the bottom, from the top, whenever the boundary layer, thermal boundary layer, reaches the center of the pipe, the flow will be fully stabilized. Fully stabilized. That's why the flow is known as fully developed, thermal developed region. From this point to the right side. So from this point to left side, unestablished thermal flow. Once the thermal boundary layer reaches the center of the pipe from the top as well as from the bottom, so reaches the center of the pipe, the flow is fully developed thermally. Okay, that is the meaning of this. So the thickness of this boundary layer also increases in the flow direction. So if you observe the thickness of the boundary layer, thickness of the boundary layer, thickness of the boundary layer, so thickness of the boundary layer increases along the flow direction and reaches the maximum value of thickness delta TH at whenever the boundary layer reaches the center of the tube, then obviously delta TH, delta T, that is thermal boundary thickness delta T, becomes the radius of the pipe. That's why the thickness of this boundary layer increases in the flow direction up to what? Until the boundary layer reaches the center of the pipe. Boundary layer reaches the center of the pipe. After that, the flow is fully stabilized thermally. The flow is fully stabilized. From this point to right side, the flow is fully stabilized. The region of flow over which thermal boundary layer develops and reaches the tube center is called the thermal entry region. This region up to the development of fully developed region at the center, and once the thermal boundary layer reaches the center of the pipe, up to this the flow is unestablished. This region is known as thermal entrance region. The region of flow over which the thermal boundary layer develops and reaches the tube center is called the thermal entry region. And the length of this region is called the thermal entry length. This length is known as L for length, E for entry, T for thermal. So thermal entry length, this length is known as thermal entry length. Thermal entry length. The region beyond the thermal entry region in which the temperature profile remains unchanged is called the thermal developed region. So once unestablished flow is established, so from the right side of this point, the flow is thermally developed. This region is known as fully developed thermal region. Fully developed thermal region. That is the region beyond the thermal entry region. The region beyond the thermal entry region. This region, beyond this thermal entry region, this region, the region. So beyond the thermal entry region in which the temperature profile remains unchanged. Here, the temperature profile. Here also, the temperature profile. If you take the temperature profile, same as that of this here also, here also, here also. So same as same like this here also, here also, here also. So the temperature profile will not be changed. The temperature profile remains unchanged, and that region, that particular region, this region or this region is known as fully developed, is called fully developed thermal region. The region in which the flow is okay, fully developed thermal region. Once the temperature remains unchanged, is called the fully developed thermal region. But if you consider the hydrodynamic as well as thermal, then that region, the region in which the flow is both hydrodynamically and thermally developed is called fully developed region. So here once the hydrodynamically fully developed, after that thermally fully developed. This particular region is called so fully developed region. If any region developed with respect to hydrodynamically and with respect to thermally, then that particular region is called fully developed region. From the fully developed region, you can able to calculate the required parameters in a easy way. Otherwise, in an unestablished flow, the getting a mathematical expression to some extent difficult. And next, how do you find out this hydrodynamic entrance length? How do you find out this thermal entrance length? So the hydrodynamic and thermal entry lengths in laminar flow are given as, yesterday given for hydrodynamic entry length. So entry length hydrodynamic, yesterday given, divided by that D is equal to 0.005 RED. So from that hydrodynamic entry length, LE, E for entry, L for length, hydrodynamic, H for hydrodynamic. Hydrodynamic entry length, how do you calculate? By using this formula, 0.005 RED, that is Reynolds number for a given diameter D into D, diameter of the pipe. Diameter of the pipe. So this is this is hydrodynamic entry length. Hydrodynamic entry length 0.05 into RED, Reynolds number. How do you calculate Reynolds number? Rho into velocity, rho density of the fluid into velocity of the fluid into diameter of the pipe, rho Vd by mu, dynamic viscosity. Rho Vd by mu, Reynolds number, rho Vd by mu for pipeline flow, where D is the diameter. Where in the case of flat plate, external flow, L, rho Vl by mu, where L is the length of the pipe. Here, rho Vd by mu in the tube flow or pipeline flow, Reynolds number, how do you calculate? Rho Vd by mu, or rho into density of the fluid into velocity of the fluid into diameter of the pipe divided by mu, dynamic viscosity. Rho Vd by mu into diameter, D, capital D. What is capital D? Diameter of the pipe. Like that, you can calculate hydrodynamic entry length by using this formula. Next, how do you find out thermal entry length? How do you find out thermal entry length? Thermal entry length. Thermal entry length. LET. T for thermal. E for entry. L for length. So thermal entry length is equal to 0.05 into RED, Reynolds number, into diameter of the pipe into Prandtl number. Here, because whenever the thermal, obviously Prandtl number will be coming in the convection. So in the forced convection, so Prandtl number. How do you calculate Prandtl number? Mu Cp by K. Mu, dynamic viscosity, into Cp, specific heat at constant pressure, by K, K, thermal conductivity of the fluid. So like that, so you can calculate hydrodynamic entry length as well as thermal entry length. Okay, na? That's about what is thermal boundary layer formation, what is thermal boundary layer, what is thermal entrance length, entry length, what is fully developed region in the case of thermal. So, and temperature distribution. Whenever there is a fluid flow inside a pipeline, if it is having temperature, obviously temperature distribution. There will be temperature. So you can how do you have to find out the equation for temperature distribution? Just like velocity distribution, here you have to calculate the temperature distribution equation. For this, consider a annual element means their inside diameter, outside diameter. Hollow pipe is going on annual pipe, annual element. Their inside diameter, outside diameter, it is having a thickness of dr. Consider a pipe of radius smaller and thickness of the pipe, that dr, and elementary ring, length of the annual element dx. Dx is the length of the element or annual element. QR is the heat conducted along the radius, and heat conducted along the radial direction, conduction heat transfer along the radial direction. This is radial, radius. Q conducted, QR, heat transfer, conduction heat transfer, when the here radius is equal to small r. After that, outside, what is the, how do you calculate outside heat transfer rate? Q r plus dr. Here, what is the r value? R plus dr, radius value, r plus dr. That's why, so heat conduction at the pipe of at the wall inside, and what is heat coming out through conduction from the wall of the tube, that is QR plus dr. So similarly, whenever fluid flow inside, there is a heat transfer also. There is a convection heat transfer or enthalpy. It is having, whenever fluid is having temperature, it is having heat also, heat content also. That is one more heat energy. So that's why temperature distribution, in order to estimate the temperature distribution, in order to estimate the distribution of temperature, that is temperature distribution, let us consider the flow of heat. Flow of heat means there is some fluid is flowing with the temperature. Consider the flow of heat through an elementary ring of thickness dr and length dx. Considering the radial conductance, here conduction heat transfer, radial conductance. Considering the radial conductance, whenever this here is there, so heat is transfer along the radius. Conduction heat transfer along the radius. Considering the radial conductance and axial, along the axis, that along the tube, what will there? The fluid is flowing with the temperature. That's why it is having some heat energy. And that is known as axial enthalpy transport. Because fluid is moving like this inside the tube, it is having enthalpy. That's why axial enthalpy transport will be there inside the pipe in the annual element we have. So here, so three energies here. One is conduction heat transfer inside the radius and conduction heat transfer coming out from the outer radius. QR conduction heat transfer, QR plus DR conduction heat transfer, and the two energies. And what is the third energy? So fluid, whenever fluid is flowing with the temperature, it is having some heat energy. That is convection heat transfer or some heat energy. Okay. So here analysis of energy in the tube. You have to analyze what are the energies. Conduction heat energy, one at the inside of the tube. And what is the conduction heat coming out from the tube at the outside radius? That is QR plus DR. So conduction. And similarly, whenever the fluid having temperature, it is having some heat energy. By using MC delta T, you'll get that heat enthalpy or heat energy. Okay, na? That is also convection heat energy. So analysis of energy in the tube. So energies, heat energy. This is one heat energy. This is one heat energy. And third one, when a fluid whenever the fluid is moving with a velocity and having temperature, it is having the enthalpy transport or heat energy by using MC delta T. MC by Q is equal to mass into specific heat into temperature difference. By using that formula, you can calculate that heat energy. That's why analysis of energy in the tube. Heat conducted at the radius R, QR. But how do you calculate heat conducted QR, heat conducted in? So for this thickness of the tube, heat conduct QR. How do you calculate? Because conduction heat transfer, how do you calculate? What is the basic formula? What is the basic formula for conduction heat transfer? That is Fourier's law of heat conduction. Fourier's law of heat conduction. So QR is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. So for a small differential element, minus K area 2 pi r for complete length of dx, complete length of the inside surface area of the tube. That is inside surface area for a length of dx. Inside surface area, how do you calculate? So circumference into length. Here what is circumference? 2 pi r, because r is the radius of the inside radius or radius of the pipe. So 2 pi r into dx for a length of dx. Those inside surface area 2 pi r into length dx. That's why minus Ka. K into surface 2 pi r into dx into for a small variation of temperature for a small differential element dou r. That's why dou T by dou r. We are considering along the radius only. That's why variation of temperature along the small radius dou r. That is heat conducted in QR minus Ka dt by dx na. That here dou T by dou r. Okay na? Now heat conducted out at the outer radius, that is r plus dr. This is r dr. So that is heat conducted out. Conduction heat transfer only, conduction. Q, because here material, solid material is there. Through the solid material, there is conduction heat transfer. Conduction heat transfer. Heat conducted out, QR plus dr is equal to minus K area into dou T by dou r. But here, so minus K, 2 pi, constant 2 pi, but radius, what is the radius value? So radius, here radius becomes r plus dr. That's why r plus dr. And dx, okay, dx is same. There will not be any change. For the outside also, the dx only. There will not be any change in dx. Into dx, into dou by dou r of, but what is t variation? Here t at any value of along the given radius r t. But what is the t variation here from this point to this point, this point to this point? So that's why t varies from, so dou by dou r of t plus dou T by dou r for a small distance of dr. That's why the temperature variation T at this outside surface, T when the T is here, T is T, temperature is T. What is temperature here? That is So T is temperature. So dou by dou R of temperature varies from T to T plus dou T by dou R into dr, this length, d into dr. So that is the heat conducted out at the outer surface of the tube along the radius only. But along the axis, one more heat transfer, that is net heat convected out of the annular element, that is, so what is, that will be through the heat transfer through the fluid element, that is called convection heat transfer, because within the fluid the convection heat transfer, the dq convection heat transfer, that is how do you calculate, m into c into delta t. So that is m into c, but how do you calculate mass density into volume flow rate? How do you calculate volume flow rate? Here at any value of r, volume flow rate, that is surface area, that is so that is 2 pi r dr, 2 pi r dr into, for this length, so convected as dr into velocity u, velocity at any value of velocity u. So if you must multiply the velocity with so area, then you get the volume. That's why density into volume, mass into specific heat Cp into the delta T, variation of temperature. So dou T by, for this small, for along the length of dx. That's why dou T by dou x, convection for a total length of, total length of dx. That's why dou T by dou x for small variation for a small dou x value, and that is for total dx, length of dx, that will be, so temperature variation for a total distance dx will be dou T by dou x into dx, m into specific heat into temperature difference. So here, what is the net heat convected out? That is heat conduction inside minus outside. Then what is inside heat available? What is going out? Then that much of heat will be transferred through the fluid. That is convection heat transfer. That's why the equation is, so QR minus QR plus DR is equal to, so convection heat transfer dq convection, dq convection. So that's why here, so I am skipping some steps here. All of you verify those mathematical steps. So QR minus QR plus DR is equal to dq convection. What is QR value? Minus k. Substitute this value here, QR. And QR plus DR, substitute this value here. And that is equal to a dq convection, convection heat transfer. You substitute this value here. And simplify. And because here velocity is there, so here you convert this velocity in terms of u max, and obviously rho Cp by k, then alpha thermal diffusivity is equal to k by rho Cp, k by rho Cp. Here k is there, thermal current k is there, rho is there, Cp is there. So by simplification, here some mathematical steps here there in between this. So by substituting the value of Qr here in this equation and the value of Qr plus Dr here, and if you substitute this value here, and by simplification and by doing some mathematical steps and by taking the help of the equation for u, velocity equation in terms of u max, and finally you will be getting the temperature distribution. The temperature distribution inside the flow, small t is temperature distribution only. That is equal to 1 by alpha. That is, alpha is thermal diffusivity. And dou T by dou x. Dou T by dou x is there. And dou T by dou x, variation of temperature along the x direction. And U max into U max. Because where is U max? Where you are getting U max? So from this simplification, from the differentiation integration, and by converting velocity U in terms of U max, maximum velocity. So U max into small r square by 4, where r is the radius of this annular element, and r square by 4 minus r to the power 4 by 16 r square plus 16 r square, and this plus Ts, that what Ts? This surface temperature. Yeah, Ts, surface temperature. Surface temperature tube minus 1 by alpha dou T by dou R. Here, dou T by dou R will be there. Dou T by dou R into U max, velocity maximum. U max is velocity maximum into 3R square by 16. Capital R square. Capital R is the, so finally outside diameter. So outside radius, outer radius, outer here, capital R. So finally, by getting the value of QR here, by getting the value of QR plus DR, or substituting the values of QR and QR plus DR here, and substituting the value of D convection heat transfer here, and by simplification, by mathematical conversion, by mathematical steps, finally the temperature distribution equation in a tube T, small t temperature distribution in a tube or in a pipe is temperature distribution equation is 1 by alpha dou T by dou X into velocity, maximum velocity into small r square by 4 minus small r to the power 4 by 16 r square, where small r is the radius of inside radius, capital R is the outside radius, and Ts is surface temperature. Okay, na? So finally, if you simplify this one again, you take Ts. So okay, Ts small. Okay, I'm small Ts instead of small Ts. I'm changing to capital Ts. That temperature only. Surface. This is only temperature. Surface temperature minus this T minus T. So you take this T to the right hand side, and you simplify this one. You take this to the left hand side and simplify. Finally, Ts minus T, surface temperature minus T, temperature distribution, temperature at any value of R is equal to U max by alpha dou T by dou X, and here this here in this within the square bracket 3R square by 16, and this becomes minus, this becomes plus, and if you simplify this one, so if you take here instead of small t, capital T, instead of Ts, small ts, capital Ts, then simplify this equation. So Ts minus T, that is surface temperature minus temperature distribution T, any value of T, that is equal to U max by alpha, common term here, this is a common term, U max by alpha, dou T by dou X, common term, dou T by dou X, common term. That's why so dou T by dou, this is equal to 1 minus 3R square by 16 minus R square by 4 plus R to the power 4 by 16 R square. That's the temperature distribution equation for a tube flow. But finally, you have to calculate heat transfer coefficient. Okay, all of listen very carefully now. Heat transfer coefficient H for tube flow. How do you calculate that one? For determining the heat transfer coefficient for fully developed pipe flow, it is imperative to determine or define. It is imperative to define a characteristic temperature of the fluid. In this tube flow, you have to take one temperature that is known as characteristic temperature. For determining what? For determining the convective heat transfer coefficient. That characteristic temperature is known as that it is the bulk temperature TB. B for bulk temperature, or bulk temperature is also known as mixing cup temperature of the fluid. Mixing cup temperature of the fluid, bulk temperature or mixing cup temperature of the fluid. In this tube flow, forced convection inside a tube flow, how do we calculate heat transfer coefficient H? For this, you have to take the concept of bulk mean temperature. You require this bulk mean temperature because fluid is flowing in a temperature T, but sometimes there is T, sometimes T1, T2, T3 like that. Fluid temperature may change from one location to other location. That's why you have to consider one common temperature. That temperature is known as bulk mean temperature or mixing cup temperature of the fluid. Mixing cup temperature, that is denoted with TB. But how do you find out TB? That is bulk temperature or mixing cup temperature. of the fluid. How do you find out? For an incompressible fluid, that is density, there is not any change of density. That is known, that fluid is known as incompressible fluid. If there is no change of density, then that is known as incompressible fluid. Having constant density, that's why having constant density and having constant specific heat. For the fluid having constant density and constant specific heat, how do you find out this? Bulk mean temperature TB or mixing cup temperature TB. How do you calculate? From the mathematical concept by integrating 0 to R, capital R, that is outside radius, U into T into R dr. U, velocity at any given location. T, temperature distribution at any given location. R is radius of the tube at any given location. So integral 0 to R, U T R, U into T into R dr divided by integral 0 to R, U into R into dr. This has been defined for defining this bulk mean temperature. How do you define this bulk mean temperature? Because of variations of temperatures, you have to calculate the bulk mean temperature. But how do you calculate bulk mean temperature for fluid flow? So by using this integration concept, integral of 0 to R, U into T into R dr divided by integral 0 to R, U into R into dr. But what is U? Velocity distribution at any given location. T, temperature distribution at any given location. R is radius of the tube, at any given location into dr divided by this integral, same integral 0 to R, but this is, there is no temperature, only velocity into radius, U into radius R into dr. By using this concept, you can calculate TB. That is required here for calculation of this heat transfer, convective heat transfer. So convective heat transfer, how do you calculate? HA into delta T. Here delta T, surface temperature minus bulk mean temperature of the fluid. So inside fluid, outside surface temperature or wall temperature, Ts or T wall. Outside surface temperature tube, and convective transfer coefficient heat transfer is equal to H into A into Ts minus Tb. But what we are doing here, the heat transfer coefficient calculated from the relation. So here what is the convection heat transfer? That is at the outer surface of the tube. So convection heat transfer is equal to, that is, what is the convection heat transfer? That is coming out as a conduction heat transfer. The boundary condition for this. So conduction heat transfer is equal to convection heat transfer. Conduction heat transfer Q is equal to convection heat transfer, Q convection. But generally, how do you calculate Q convection? H into area into surface temperature minus TB, temperature difference. That is equal to conduction heat transfer Q. From this relation, how do you calculate heat transfer coefficient? Convection heat transfer coefficient H is equal to Q by area into Ts minus Tb. That is equal to Tb. How do you calculate Tb? By using this formula. And but how do you calculate conduction heat transfer? So because what is the convection heat that is coming on the surface, the conduction out. That's why minus Ka dou T by dou R along the radius. When R is equal to capital, small r is equal to capital R. That is conduction heat transfer. When small r is equal to capital R. That's why at the boundary condition is conduction heat transfer is equal to convection heat transfer. Conduction heat transfer is equal to convection heat transfer. Q is conduction. So from that H, convective heat transfer, H is equal to conduction heat transfer by area into Ts minus Tb. So, but how do you calculate conduction heat transfer? When small r is equal to capital R, that is Ka dou T by dou R. So here dou T by dou R, how do you calculate? By using this formula, temperature distribution. So dou T by dou R, and after differentiation and substituting smaller instead of smaller capital R, finally you get this conduction heat transfer. Okay na? So then by doing this differentiation, by substituting smaller instead of smaller capital R, and finally H for this convective heat transfer for tube flow, H, convective heat transfer coefficient, heat transfer coefficient for a tube flow H is equal to 48 K by 11D. 48 K by 11D. By doing this, after completion of this step, you will be getting the convection heat transfer coefficient for a tube flow 48 K by 11D. What is K? You have to remember, you can easily remember this. How do you calculate heat transfer coefficient for a tube flow? 48 K by 11D. What is K? K is the thermal conductor of fluid. What is D? Diameter of the tube. K is the thermal conductor of fluid. D is the diameter of the tube. That's why after calculation of H, that how do you calculate Nusselt number for a tube flow? Nu, Nusselt number for a tube flow. N is HD by K. HL by K for flat plate. For a tube flow, Nusselt number Nu, HD by K. That is equal to H value. Just now we calculated 48 into K by 11D. Substitute that value, H value 48 K by 11D into D by K. So D get cancelled, K get cancelled, and only 48 by 11. Nusselt number Nu for a tube flow. For this 48 by 11 will be coming as 4.364. And this is applicable only constant heat flux. If you supply constant heat flux, that is condition. What you are giving input? Constant heat flux. If you give constant heat flux to the tube, constant heat flux to the tube, then the Nusselt number, Nu is equal to 4.364. How do you calculate Nusselt number? HD by K. That's why, therefore, HD by K is equal to 4.364 for a tube flow under condition of constant heat flux. But sometimes, so they will maintain their number, they conduct a number of experiments on these tube flows. They have taken one condition, constant heat flux. Second condition for constant wall temperature. Here, if you maintain throughout the length of the pipe, throughout the length on the surface, you maintain the temperature is constant. Here, TW, same value. For example, 300 degrees centigrade, 300 degrees centigrade, 300 degrees centigrade, 300 degrees centigrade. So that is the second condition. Sometimes you can maintain constant heat flux. Sometimes you can maintain constant wall temperature. Constant wall temperature. For constant wall temperature condition, how do you calculate Nusselt number? For constant wall temperature, how do you calculate Nusselt number? Nu is equal to HD by K. So the Nusselt number for tube flow HD by K only. But this constant value changes. This value changes. That's all. 3.65. For this, 4.364. For if we maintain constant heat flux, H is equal to 48 into K by 11D. If you use this value here, then you will be getting 4.364 Nusselt number for constant heat flux. Following the same procedure, if you maintain constant wall temperature, then Nusselt number will be coming at 3.65. 3.65. So like that, for a tube flow, you can calculate heat transfer coefficient by using this formula, by HD by K is equal to 4.364 by at a condition of constant heat flux. If the condition is constant wall temperature, HD by K value 3.65. By using this formula and this formula, you can calculate H value, that is convective heat transfer coefficient for a tube flow. Okay, na? So like that. So this is, I think, to some extent, this is mathematical concepts, but you have to remember these values. So tomorrow we'll solve some problems on this. Again, one more important announcement. Tomorrow, first hour, I'm going to take. So Lieutenant sir is not there tomorrow. I'll take the tomorrow first hour. All of you attend tomorrow first hour heat transfer class only. Okay, that's all for today. Some closing. Any doubt? Okay, I'm closing the session.